welcome to Nazareto's channel, and in this episode I'm going to show you that I have a problem with this blower heater, and let me show you what it is. This is an old unit. What happens is when I turn on the power here, I hear the buzzing noise coming from the inside, and the motor, the blower, is not spinning. It's just making buzzing. So I pinpoint the problem. That's the capacitor. And I just want to show you where it's located and how I did this. First thing first, find this switch, make sure the power is turned off, and to be extra safe, go to the fuse box and disconnect the fuse. Well, I didn't mean to say disconnect the fuse box. Just open this panel right here and find where you have a furnace. Make sure the power is off to your furnace. As you see here, it says furnace, which would be this switch. We're going to flip that, and now the power is off to our furnace. So now I know for sure this switch is off, and we flip the switch in the panel. Now we're going to remove this part. Some furnaces are different, but most of them are like this, where this panel comes out. And this is what we're looking in. This is our motor in there. As you see, the capacitor is right there on the side. And I'm gonna show you how I remove that. And also we're gonna remove this blower motor. We're gonna remove the wheel, and we're gonna change that because that makes sound too. A good idea for this kind of work, have some light here so you see what you're doing. Take a picture of everything, how everything is wired, and don't worry, you can do this because I did it and I am DIYer, so you can do it also. So I took a picture of this. Now I see this connector right here. We're gonna disconnect this. This connector is out. Put it on the side. Have one more down there. This one is off. Now we're gonna remove these bolts, these screws. And we can slide this out. Right now, this assembly sitting on these like rails here. We're gonna just slide it out, but make sure all these cables don't get pulled or tangled. So I'm also gonna remove these 4 bolts. This is an old furnace. I'm just gonna set this on the side here. All right, so now I'm gonna pull this unit out. Also, we can disconnect this piece right here. This is these wiring go to our motor. I'm gonna swing this out of the way, like so. And also this connector, I'm also gonna disconnect it and swing this to the side. As you see here, everything was, all the wiring, I carefully, put it all on the side, disconnect all the connectors, and I can slide this unit out. So now we can slide this whole unit out. Make sure the wiring is out of the way. That's it. So guys and girls, this is our it's called capacitor, run capacitor. And before you touch it, take a screwdriver, discharge it, Make sure this piece is rubber. Make sure it's discharged. And you just remove these bolts here and pull these cables off and replace it. But let me show you what it says on the label here. So make sure you get the right capacitor. Make sure it says 370 volts. Make sure it's rated 85C. Also, do you see this number? 5MF plus minus 5%. So make sure you get the right capacitor and just replace it. I already did it. This is a new one. And replace it. And once you connect everything, the sound will go away and the motor will start spinning. There should be no problem. Most likely the problem is with capacitor. Once you replace it, it should be fine. And it doesn't matter. On this kind of capacitor, it doesn't matter which way you connect it. This one here, this cable here, as long as they're, connected. So I have a new capacitor, and also my problem was my motor was very old. It was seized, so I had to put a new motor. So this is a new motor. Very easy to remove it. There are bolts here, 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 3 bolts. You just slide it out. And on the other side, we have this bolt. Before you remove the motor, you need to remove this bolt. And then you can slide the motor out and put a new one. And that's it. And so the reason why I took all this unit out, I wasn't planning to make this video, but I decided, you know what, I'll just show it to you guys. Maybe some of you guys and girls want to do this project. I had a problem with the wheel. So this is a new wheel. This one making noise. It's unbalanced. So when it's spinning, it's clunking. It's like, making noise. And everything is here clear. You see, it's not touching any metal parts. It's just this wheel is not balanced. It was damaged when I tried to remove it. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna install this new one. Once you remove this bolt right there, right, you can slide the motor out. And you see this one has a bracket. So you need like a socket and just remove this bolt and this whole motor will come out. It should be no problem. But if you are struggling with removing this motor like I did, like you might probably damage this wheel. So you need a new wheel. So I'm gonna replace this wheel right now. And let me show you this. So this motor is spinning clockwise. Actually counterclockwise. When you look this way, this wheel is spinning counterclockwise. And you have to get the right kind of wheel. As you see on this wheel, it says CCW, counterclockwise. So this whole motor is spinning, this wheel is spinning left this way, and it will be pushing, these brackets will be pushing the air out through this hole. So it's gonna come out this way. So you make sure you get the right wheel. If you ever have to replace this wheel, make sure you get the right wheel. And it says CCW, counterclockwise. So, like right now, I'm gonna remove this bolt on this side. I had a really difficult time removing this wheel. So the shaft on the old motor, this is the shaft, it was like pretty much rusted to this part. So it was like very tough to remove. You see, now it's moving. And the way we remove this wheel, we also have to remove the motor. We have to remove this motor. I'm gonna slide this motor out. See, I took the motor out. We're gonna put it inside. Once the motor out, we gotta get this wheel out. And it comes out this way. And we have to remove this metal piece right here. So there's like screw here and on the other side. And then this piece just slides out. There's one. There's another screw. And now we can remove this piece, and we can remove the wheel. So this is our old wheel, and this is our new wheel right here. They call it squirrel cage wheel, lower motor wheel. And you see these pieces right here pointing this way. It's the same thing on the new one. And also these metal pieces are the balancing, I call them balancing brackets. There's one here. I think there's one on the other side. Yep, there's one right there. So this wheel was perfectly balanced at the factory, and this one, it looks good, but the problem is it makes noise. So even if just a little bit these things are damaged, it's gonna make noise. You're not gonna see it. Some of them could be bent, but they're gonna make a lot of noise. So now let's replace it with this new one. The way we install this, make sure this side was this like hub thing pointing out this way, because the air is going to be spinning. It's going to be spinning this way, and the air will be blowing out this way. So this part, you know, pointing out. So carefully, don't drop it. Just put it inside. Okay, so I set this wheel down carefully. And now we're gonna put the motor on the top here. So take your motor, slide it in there. So secure your motor bracket now. Don't have to be crazy tight. Motor is secured. Let's flip this on the other side, like so. And now we're gonna align this wheel so it stays in between, in the middle. This bolt is loose, and so you can move this wheel. So we're gonna put it like in the middle, so some space here and here, right about this much space. See, that looks even. Now we can secure this nut, but before you do it, the shaft has this flat part right here. Make sure this bolt aligns with this flat part right here. So you guys turn it. See this flat part, the shaft, and now we can secure this bolt. Make it tight. It's tight. See, there's even space here and even space here. Nothing is vibrating, it's spinning nicely. All we have to do is put this metal piece, which slides in here. And these small screws. Okay, good. This plate is good. Our wheel is in the middle, spinning nicely. I can feel the air. All right, now we have to reconnect the capacitor and the wires. Sometimes you see this kind of capacitor. You see, it's a little bit, looks like this. Some of them are round. Like the old one that I had here was like round, big, like this, longer, and it was from 1988. So no wonder why it starts buzzing. Sometimes they got, you know, they go bad, you know, and the motor will not be able to kick in. It will not start turning. This thing is going to be buzzing, making noise like zzz, and try to replace your capacitor. In my case, I had the motor that was bad. It was seized up. It was making noises. And when I installed everything back, I put a new motor, new capacitor. The system was working. Everything was fine. But the wheel was damaged. And the old wheel was clunking, a little bit unbalanced, making noise. So that's why I decided to take it apart and just put a new wheel. So let's secure this one. Don't forget this ground wire. Make sure it's on. Just put the screw here. A good idea to take a zip tie. Secure these cables with a zip tie here so nothing goes on the inside and gets damaged. Okay, so we're ready to install this motor. Install this whole assembly back into place. Let's just verify here the new capacitor secured. The wires are connected properly. This one is zip tied. These bolts are secured. These are all good. And I just want to show you, this is a new motor, right? This is a 3-speed motor. It was very easy to replace it. Everything is colored. See, this is our old connector with the old wiring. There's white, black, blue, and red. And the new wires from the motor, same colors. So all you do, just connect them. See, I connected it. Very easy. Also, on the motor, there are numbers. So before you buy this motor, there are numbers. You can call like the company, like Granger company, and they'll tell you what motor you need. But also on some of the motors that show you which way it spins, make sure you get the motor that spins the right direction. Like this motor, it spins this way. So when you look from the back, this motor spins clockwise. When you look for the front, it spins counterclockwise. And also you can reverse the motor rotation with these 2 wires. You see, that's what I had to do. Very easy. And when you install it back, that's how it looks. Make sure none of these wires get tangled. You need an extra zip tie, put an extra zip tie, secure the wires. It's very easy. But the buzzing noise that we had is gone. The reason to that is this capacitor wasn't working. It was kicking in. It wasn't kicking in, so it was bad. So I installed a new capacitor and everything should be good. Okay, now we have to slide this unit back into place. But as you see on the top, there's these rails. Make sure this end aligns with those rails and you can slide it in. See here, I align it sitting on the top of those rails. Just gonna slide this whole unit back into place. Watch for the wiring. Before we do that, we gotta connect the switch here. This one right here, we gotta reconnect it. Okay, our switch is connected. Bolts are in place. Now we can slide this whole unit back into place. And now we have to put 1 screw here, 1 here. Now I'm just gonna reconnect this whole piece. This is a very old unit, so I'm just gonna put it back in place. And we got 4 screws on this each. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. This is our last screw. I have to reconnect this cable, which goes right down there. You see? And this is our motor. This is for the motor. Click. So we're done with these wires here. That one's plugged in. That one's plugged in. This is our capacitor. None of the wires are in the way. Everything looks good. Now I'm just gonna install this panel and turn everything on. Also, good idea to check a filter and replace the filter. So, I'm taking our panel. Good. Now I can go back to our electrical panel and turn it back on our furnace, which is furnace second one from the top. Turn it on. Flip this switch on. And there's no buzzing, but let's turn on the heat. Let's turn on the heat. Let's do like 70. Let's see if the motor turns on. So the motor kicks in. I could hear it. It's spinning, and it's not loud like it was before. You can't hear it here. Definitely works nicely. So the problem fixed. Capacitor replaced. Put a new wheel, lower wheel, and it's nice and quiet. On this side you can hear it's working properly, and it's quiet because we replaced the wheel, and it's balanced wheel, so it's not clunking around anymore. It's nice and quiet. So the job is done. So guys and girls, I fixed the problem. The motor is running, everything's working, and it's working quiet. I replaced the wheel because that was clunking, making noise, and I save myself a few $100s. And if you have like old system like this, you can do it yourself, but also if there's a new system, you can also do it yourself. As long as you take a picture of the wiring, make sure the power is off, you should be fine. It's not a hard project. So see you in the next one, and don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe. Bye.